The newly enacted Texas abortion law that enables private citizens to sue anyone who assists in an abortion in any capacity has become a template for legislation across the country on other issues like guns and LGBT rights. Illinois lawmakers have proposed legislation that will permit citizens to file civil suits against gun manufacturers if a firearm produced by the manufacturer causes injury or death. The legislation, known as the Protecting Heartbeats Act, would, like Texas' abortion law, would award damages of at least $10,000. Missouri lawmakers have introduced a bill prohibiting schools from teaching lessons that affirm, adopt, or adhere to the notion that the United States is fundamentally racist. It would also mandate that schools promote overall positive accounts of the nation's history. Missouri's bill also enables private citizens to file civil suits against educators that violate the proposed law. Violators could be sued for damages up to $10,000. Legal and political analysts warn that the copycat legislation rooted in Texas's abortion law will encourage citizens to file frivolous civil suits all over policies that they dislike, even if the laws are deemed constitutional. Joining us to discuss is Texas State Representative Jasmine Crockett. Representative Crockett, this was the big fear. This letting the cat out of the bag. If Texas is allowed to do this, and if it should stand, then every state will find some way to do the same thing. Some on progressive issues, some on conservative issues, but they would be making vigilantes of private citizens. How problematic do you see this slippery slope?
Oh, I mean, we're seeing it, right? This is what happens when we have a high court that is being more partisan than practical. The reality is that we are in a constitutional crisis, a crisis that we specifically stated existed, a crisis really of our own making, right? Because I honestly don't believe that my colleagues that pushed for this ridiculous bill in Texas ever thought that it was going to go anywhere. I think that they just wanted something to campaign on. But instead, the Supreme Court has allowed this to go on. And I thought, just for sure, because the gun makers were concerned about this being used the other way, that they would arrive at the right conclusion. But as we can see, they decided to duck their heads and they arrived at the wrong conclusion. And now we see the rest of the country running amok, as they would say.
So what is your fear about, this clogging up the courts, both around the country, but also in Texas, your own state, with these frivolous lawsuits? These laws grant standing to people who are not party to what is happening at all. Anyone can sue if they believe or say that they believe that they have some information that someone participated. If people start to file these lawsuits in mass, that completely ties up the legal system, not to mention that people like teachers could be now drawn into a situation where now they are away from students, in some states where they're allowed to sue students, but also, any Uber driver who drove someone to somewhere and they said, well, that person got an abortion, now that person is tied up in litigation.
No, you're absolutely right when you talk about standing. This was one of the very arguments that we made on the floor. There is no standing in these cases. I still argue that there's no standing that's been granted. There is some randomness that's going on, but we all know what standing is defined as, and you have to be harmed in some way. So this vigilante bill is problematic for that reason, number one, but also number two, the idea that people are going to go into our court systems, as you've already stated, and clog them up further. You said clog them up. I'm talking about clog them up further. Most people complain that justice has always been slow, and it is. On the criminal side, the civil side, all sides are slow, and they've only gotten even slower in the midst of COVID-19. People don't understand, unless you're a trial lawyer, how hard it is to even get a trial right now. We are still in the middle of a pandemic. It is very difficult to get 12 seated. Next thing you know, somebody needs to go quarantine because somebody in their family got COVID. I mean, trials, I don't know when they will get back to normal, but we were already backed up. Now we are even more backed up. And to think that we would waste resources, to think that Republicans would not be conservative as it relates to our justice system, our civil justice system, is absolutely mind blowing, especially to the expense of business owners, because nobody's going to go after the little individual. Anybody that practices law tells you you go for the deep pockets. And so they're not going to go for the little individuals. They're going to go for the hospitals in the case of the abortions, or they're going to go for Uber itself. They are going to go after business. And so for a party to say that they're pro business and to put so many businesses at risk, it doesn't make logical sense. As you mentioned before, there are even laws that they're pushing forward with that will allow gun manufacturers to be targeted. That's who's going to be targeted. That's who has the money. No point in going after your neighbor who doesn't have $10,000 anyway. That's a waste of time. But I can go after these other entities that actually do have the money.
Are you optimistic that the courts will eventually deal with the Texas abortion law in some way, at least to strip away some portions of it, like this vigilante portion?
You know, I I tried to be optimistic, but I don't know how many times the Supreme Court has turned us down. So at this point in time, I really don't have a lot of faith in the Supreme Court. And I remember a time, I mean, I've been licensed to practice law in multiple states and federal courts for the last 16 years. And I remember times where I said, whoo, the Supreme Court got that one right, right? Like where they did what was right based on precedents, where they did what was right based upon just the overall principles of practicing law. Right now, I mean, the fact that you started this off saying people that don't have standing, I never thought that that would even be an option for any court in this country, let alone the highest court, to allow a law that basically doesn't require someone to be harmed. Our courts are not for vigilantism.
Right.
Our courts are to make somebody whole again.
So before I let you go, I want to ask you this. You're running for the Congress seat of retiring Representative Eddie Bernice Johnson. How do you think the new voting laws in Texas are going to affect your race?
Um, I don't know, but I'm a little nervous. If anybody has watched recently what's going on in Texas, those that didn't believe that fat meat was greasy, they're finding out now. We rang the alarms as loud as we could, and we said that this law was problematic for so many reasons. We've seen 40 to 60% of the vote by mail applications be rejected. I know that a lot of my seniors are not risking their health and going to the polls. And seniors are the bedrock of all democracy. When you look at who is voting in large numbers, it's our seniors. And so I've had seniors tell me, I normally receive my ballot by mail application, but nobody sent it to me this time. Well, that's because provisions in this law prevent certain people from sending those out. And so while I believe that we will do okay, because we're going to work and we're going to do everything that we can, I do believe that there will be people that wanted to participate in the process, but they simply were disallowed. And not because there was a question about voter fraud, but simply because that was always the angle of the Republicans in the state of Texas, was to suppress the vote of people that are citizens, people that have been voting, people that should be allowed to vote under our Constitution.
Representative Crockett, good luck with your race. And I, as a proud Southerner, am here to testify that fat meat is, in fact, greasy. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.